this is Dr. Sahar Lashin. I practice medicine in USA, in California. It's my pleasure to be with you today in our great integrative and lifestyle conference. It's again Dr. Sahar Lashin. I am board certified in internal medicine and in anti-aging and regenerative medicine. And I started my career as a GI and liver doctor, and I got my master's degree and PhD from Cairo University. I have been in medical field more than 30 years, and it is my great pleasure to share my impressions and my experience with you today. I'll be sharing my screen to start our lecture. So, integrative medicine and lifestyle. It's my pleasure to be with you today. And this is my brief about my credentials. And the idea of the whole hormones is that does hormones affect lifestyle or does lifestyle affect hormones? The answer is both. So, to explain how important the hormones are with every single patient that I see every day in the clinic, I will give you a few examples of the real life that I meet every day, and we help each other to get these women into a better shape and to enjoy their life as young as possible forever. First case I had in my clinic recently was a 52 years old lady who lives in New York. She has a Wall Street career, and she is seeking holistic medicine to transition from perimenopause to menopause gracefully. She has been suffering from endometriosis as a young lady for more than 30 years, with all the problems that come with it: pelvic pain, scarring. She had to go through 2 laparoscopic surgeries. And the surgeon was telling her there is a big mess on the inside. Breast cysts, uterine polyps are part of her history. She has always had irregular periods, and there is bloating with the periods, specifically with the hormonal changes. And she has been gaining weight recently, about 8 pounds around the waist and in the hips area. She also suffers from acid reflux. If you can see how important the hormones in this woman have been in her whole life, she has been suffering from this endometriosis and a lot of inflammation. And that's why adjusting hormones and controlling the inflammation would have spared her a lot of troubles for a long time. If she knew better and if she was able to seek integrative, holistic biological care early on. Since she has a lot of the symptoms that give the impression of lots of inflammation in her body, we had to order a lot of blood work and urine testing for the hormones to see where she stands, specifically because she's now perimenopausal, where the hormones come up and down and cause a lot of troubles. This patient has had to skip work at many occasions. She was not able to enjoy parties when she was invited because of the inflammation and the pain that she's having, and coming now to try and get her life under a better control. So, having her 24 hours urine tested, she showed low in all her estrogen hormones. Her progesterone too was low. And as we all know that progesterone is important for decreasing the inflammation big time. If she doesn't have progesterone, her inflammation will continue to propagate. She was also low in testosterone, and her DHEA together with the cortisol were also low. So pretty much all the hormones the body has been deprived from. How to control this case and how to help her? a lot to do for the hormones. We have to give her supplement. We have to remove the inflammations in the body. We have to provide her with oxygen, with hydrogenated water. We have to raise the mitochondrial function. We have to help her to avoid the food that is causing a lot of the inflammation too. The dairy products are a big, big enemy. We should never have dairy products, specifically with a patient with endometriosis. All right, another example of how hormones can mess with the lifestyle and how the lifestyle can also influence your hormones. 60 years old lady, menopausal since 2012, and seeking second opinion for her hormone adjustment. This time, this lady has been trying to adjust her hormones for a long time. She had big stress in her life, divorce, and then recently broke up with a boyfriend, and she pretty feels lonely sometimes where she cries on her own. We cannot ignore how important the hormones are for adjusting your mind, your thinking, your memory, and your mood. The emotional stresses are much more better controlled and dealt with if you have the proper hormones in the right way. So if you have your cortisol, which is the stress hormone, if you have your testosterone, which make you go and get it, take the decisions, control the anxiety, if you have your estrogen and progesterone well balanced, specifically progesterone, you will feel less anxious, less agitated with the everyday events. Back to our patient, at age 51, she started to feel depressed, insomniac. She couldn't sleep at night. If she can sleep for a few hours, she would wake up in the middle of the night and she can't go back to sleep. An anxiety, panic attack. Her GYN doctor trying to help her gave her synthetic hormones, which we all know is a no. And there is a lot of side effects which come with it. And she had to stop it after a few years because she couldn't tolerate the side effects. 4 years ago, she started her bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, but she landed in a place where her hormones were even messed up with the bioidentical hormones, not being monitored in the proper way. Suddenly, after turning 59, she felt that there is a great impact on her energy, and she even tried to change her doctor again, tried to change her trainer, as she has been trying actively to exercise to improve her life and her aging process, and yet nothing worked. Came to me with a lot of stress and fatigue, and checking her lab work, of course, she showed a lot of hormone imbalance, hyperglycemia, hyperlipidemia, and low iron. Her hormones showed very high progesterone, and this shows us that it is not only important to have hormones replaced, it should be replaced the right way. Having hormone abnormality or imbalance is a big problem, since the main problem is hormone imbalance, not the deficiency only or the excess of a certain hormone. She also showed low estrogen, low testosterone, high DHEA, and very abnormal cortisol curve. So case number 3 was another younger lady. So we have the 51 years old who's suffering from hormone imbalance. We have the 60 years old who's also suffering from hormone imbalance. And we have the 34 years old who's seeking advice for chronic fatigue, weight gain. She has fatty liver by ultrasound. She has severe dysmenorrhea and heavy bleeding and many clots every cycle. She was started at very early age, at age 13, on oral contraceptive pills to regulate her cycles. And she went on the synthetic hormone till age 28. When she became more oriented by the side effects, she medicated herself by stopping the hormones. And after she researched the side effects and got very scared, which was quite smart. But she's suffering from severe mood swings, loss of libido, repeated urinary tract infections, and hair problems like gray hair, hair loss, and the texture of her hair changed to more coarse. And then she was also found to have insulin resistance. She was describing her condition as being plugged in an electric socket. How bad this can be felt every day if she is having this feeling, which definitely she needs to get her hormones under control. She said she feels angry all the time. She's craving sugar and salt. She's alternating diarrhea and constipation. And in spite of all this, her primary care physician, her doctor, the regular doctor, did some labs and told her it's all fine and there is nothing to be done. How can this lady live her life? What quality of life she's suffering from, and how her lifestyle can be changed to make her happier and back to where she wants to be. Does stress affect the lifestyle? Of course. If you're stressed, you will not be in a position to exercise or to eat healthy or to think about a meditation, or you even can sleep well, or you have social life, or you can become creative, or you become interested in your significant other. It's a lot of troubles. And so thinking about how stress can affect our body, it can affect almost everything, starting from the big thing, which is hormones, passing through the sympathetic system, which is switched on at the maximum all the time, which also cause cortisol to be permanently elevated, the sugars to be high, you add weight, you start to get infections. Being stressed, you cannot switch off your brain and go to sleep. You become insomniac. You enter into a vicious circle of having elevated cortisol at night. You become deficient in growth hormone, which keeps your vitality and your young looks, and you become deficient of melatonin and oxytocin, and a lot of hormones become disturbed. Some examples for how bad this can be, and you can notice that there is deficiencies in certain hormones here, and there is some hormones that are in the high levels. And this is a 24 hours urine testing for hormones showing the estrogens and its metabolites. Testosterone is showing here to be very low, as we can see here, when it is supposed to be on the green. And you can also see the metabolites low here. The DHEA is low. This 24 hours urine testing I order for all the patients to see where they stand. Progesterone is also on the low side, and as you see, alpha and beta pregnenolone are crucial to be evaluated for replacement later on. Estrogen markers were pretty low, all of them on the red, as we see. E1 is a bad one. It's okay to have it on the low. This is the one which causes hot flashes, which cause people to be predisposed to disease, mood swings, cancers, all that bad stuff. E2 and E3 are the ones which need to be in the right place. And here, even as you see, the melatonin is there in a good level, yet the oxytocin and the growth hormone are quite deficient. You can also see and notice how the breakdowns of the adrenals and the cortisol is on the low side. So this patient has exhausted her cortisol and adrenal gland from excessive stress, and she became wired and tired. Just to change the mood, look at how stress can be relieved if you go to a walk barefooted on the sand to get grounded with the beautiful sunset on the ocean. This is Pacific Ocean. So how do we see the adrenal glands here with the cortisol? If you look here, this is the extremely stressed patient with her cortisol sky high. It is supposed to be on the green. She will not be there for long because after a while, her cortisol will just be depleted and the adrenal glands will quit working. They will just retire. I always tell my patients, the adrenal glands will work so hard for you because you're stressed. And after a while, they will just quit. They are not going to work for you anymore because you are stressing them all the time. So people can be stressed and wired, which is this shape, or stressed and tired, which is the abnormal cortisol curve over here, where it is supposed to be moving in a good shape, like the gray above and below. But this one is a yo-yo effect with a rapid drop in the afternoon. That's when the patient feels they are tired, they need a nap, they are dragging themselves during the day, and then they have more elevated cortisol at the bedtime, which is not supposed to be the situation. And at that time, when they are trying to switch off and go to sleep, they can't, and that's why they became insomniac. All right, so as we know, sympathetic system can cause a lot of stresses, and doctors have been trying the classical way to control the conditions with not looking into they are looking only on the tip of the iceberg, not looking at the base and the whole problem that is hidden below the surface of this person, where a lot of troubles can be because of inflammation, mold, candida, autoimmune disease, fillings in the teeth, root canals, eating wrong, not exercising, not having the minerals or the vitamins that is needed. Stress can cause a lot of troubles, including something that is true. It's called broken heart syndrome, or the name in the medicine that we know is Takotsubo syndrome. It's a real disease. I have seen patients in the ICU with these problems from extreme stress. So knowing that your heart can balloon out, can become very thin at some point where if it ruptures, people bleed from their heart and die. How can stress affect gut? Excuse me. Microbiomes get really disturbed with stress, and knowing now that stress affects hormones, it affects the milieu inside the abdomen in so many ways. It can cause people to become bloated, not to absorb food well, have IBS symptoms, which is alternating constipation and diarrhea, like one of the patients that we discussed earlier. The immunity gets totally disturbed, and if you know that that 75% of the immunity of the body is located in the gut on both sides, you will know that any disturbance in the microbiomes will cause this person to become immune less competent, let's say that, and will not be ready for fighting of the viruses and the bacteria. How important this is in a pandemic, I can't talk about it enough. Parasites, candida, and fungi resides in here too, and they add to the battle that this person is trying to get over. And with the compromise in the immune system, autoimmune disease and cancer start to develop. Fertility will be definitely affected by a lot of the hormone imbalance, stresses, and the abnormal terrain of this person. It will be affecting the hypothalamus pituitary axis. The thyroid can affect the whole functionality of the body, since it is acting like the fuel or the oven in the body's kitchen. If you don't have an oven, don't expect the food to be cooked. That's exactly the same thing in the cell. The cell have small ovens inside, which waits for the thyroid to get in on the receptors and activate and cause the energy to develop so the cell can start processing its food and nutrients and getting away the waste out. If this is not available, people start adding weight, they will have headaches, they will have slow thinking, even the voice will start to be deeper, their skin will start to look different, their hair will be lost. A lot of changes happen because the thyroid is crucial. What a lot of people or a lot of doctors don't take care of is that thyroid problem cannot be just managed by a thyroid pill. You have to see where the adrenal glands are, because if the adrenal glands are not functioning well, giving thyroid medication will make this patient even more unhappy, will aggravate the situation. So there is a lot of things to be fixed for all the body to be optimized. So eating habits is the first thing that everybody needs to know. Are you eating well? Are you eating right? Are you eating enough? Are you taking the calories which is from the good sources? Are you getting the enough fat? Are you taking care of eliminating right? You shouldn't have constipation, for example. You should have a lot of colors in your food every day. You should take your supplements if you're not eating that well. You have to do detox every day. There's a lot of things that I advise my patients to do on a daily basis. Exercise is as important as taking a pill or getting detoxified. Exercise is anti-cancer, anti-anxiety. It is really crucial to drive the oxygen to every cell, including the brain and the lung and the heart, everything. Exercise is very crucial. We were made to be active, not to sit behind the desk. Sleeping hygiene is one of the things that I all the time discuss with my patients. Don't get exposed to the blue light before you sleep. You have to eat the heavy meals or the protein till 2 p.m. You have to avoid eating late and going to bed. You have to have a regular regimen for your sleep. You go to bed in the same time. You have to really know exactly your schedule. Wake up early, sleep early to get the melatonin and the growth hormone and the cortisol adjusted. And try to meditate. This is very important. Meditation can bring a lot of solutions to the problems that you keep thinking about and you can't reach any resolution for. Meditation can help you to breathe. Meditation can help you to detoxify. And I tell my patients that breathing techniques to bring oxygen properly and sufficiently to the cells is crucial. That's why even ozone therapy or hyperbaric oxygen is now recognized as just like medications in treating everybody condition similar to cancers or autoimmune disease or chronic inflammation in the bodies. When you give the patient oxygen, they become normal, healthy. The body gets what it needs. We need oxygen all the time. Vitamins and bioidentical hormone replacement are two brother and sister that we really need to always be hand in hand. You cannot sometimes get everything from your food or supplements. You need the hormones to maintain your health. I see the patients who are on bioidentical hormone replacement for years and those who didn't start it yet, and you can see a big difference in the way that they think, they act, the way that they maintain their health, their body, their activities, how many medical problems they have been avoiding being on the proper vitamins and the bioidentical hormones. You can count from here till 12. Even social life and intimacy, if you don't have your hormones at ages 50 and 60, I get a patient telling me, I feel like a robot. I'm not interested in my husband anymore. I find it very difficult to have a sexual relationship with all the dryness in the vagina and the pain that happens with this relation that I stopped even trying. And she's just 51. If you know that you need to prepare for the time of no hormones in the body by being proactive at the start, going to the integrative doctor and discussing your problems or your perimenopause early on. Men also have andropause. You need to know that the hormones are all the time changing and sometimes they are gone forever. That's when the andropause and menopause hit. If you have the ability to do this sooner than later, you will enjoy your life to the max in so many ways. It's not only for the intimacy or the health, it's also for the brain and for the memory and for being independent and for being proactive in your hobbies and in doing your job without suffering, to have the decisions, the right decision. Testosterone work in so many things as well for both men and women. If you are at work, you will be able to remember your things. You will take good decisions at work. You will have enough time and be efficient to finish your stuff. It's always great to do it the right way. And of course, that's why we are all here to help you. Your daily routines can always be including a stress release technique like meditation, even for a few minutes. That you need to keep yourself hydrated, even if you are at work. You need to exercise in early morning or at any time you can. Some people do it in the lunch hour. The important thing, just do it. You can even do a HIIT exercise, which is like high intensity, and this can be only 20 or 25 minutes and you're good. Don't forget, you need to take a break every day. And me time should be as important as work time, as your family time, as your study time. Me time should be secret. And I hope that if you have any questions, for you to put down your questions, which I can always try to answer. It was my pleasure to see you.